In so many of my classes this week across the spectrum, I've been teaching about sensation and really the practice of staying with, being present with, and being able to feel the sensation in our bodies in a conscious way. How when we can do this, rather than a sensation rising up, us feeling uncomfortable, us trying to get rid of it, trying to numb out, trying to soothe ourselves, trying to stop the thing that we see as creating the sensation. If instead of doing that, we can stay present, we can open, we can feel the sensation, we can stay conscious there, that is freedom and allows us a much greater range of response. Really, that's resilience, is that we can be in these situations that are uncomfortable, these situations that are high intensity, these situations where we feel so much in our bodies, but we don't need to escape, we don't need to stop it, we don't need to get away. We can actually stay present and then have a conscious response, whatever the most resonant response is, even if it is leaving, that it's not done out of reactivity, it's done with awareness. Now, if you think about it, so many of the sensations we experience in life that we don't like, sweating, heat building in our bodies, heart racing fast, pressure in our chest. I mean, when I think about it, the sensations that I really disliked so much of the time was what I associated with anxiety. I don't know if I've told the story before online, but essentially how for years I would experience anxiety, especially before I would go and teach. And I would start to feel that feeling rise up in my body, and I would start thinking, how can I get away? How can I stop this? How can I cancel this class? I don't want to do this. This is so uncomfortable. Until the day I turned towards the sensation and started feeling it and realizing it was a tremendous amount of energy in my body. And in fact, it was energy that I needed to teach, to transmit, for something to come through me and actually communicate to the people I was in front of. And from that day forward, my whole relationship to the sensation of anxiety changed. Well, likewise, if you think of so many of those sensations that in life, when they rise up, we want to get away from them. Again, that sweating, pulsing, pressure, heat, whatever it is, those are the exact same sensations that we crave in sex. That feeling of something so big coming through us, taking us over, being completely out of control, that it being something beyond us that comes through us and is greater than us. This is the most amazing feeling in sex. And yet, out in life, when that sensation comes in, what do? We want to tense against it, or we want to calm it down, or we want to erase it or get away from it. So in class today, we were talking about what happens when life is really giving it to you, and giving it to you in the you know what. And how so much of the time you want to have that habitual response, you want to get away or stop it, or you want to tighten up. Now, in the erotic, if you tighten up, that thing is not getting any more pleasurable. In fact, it is going in the opposite direction. And actually, in the erotic arts, it's all about opening, relaxing, being willing to let it in more deeply, being willing to let life in, sensation in, experience in more deeply. And that is where you start feeling the real get off. That is when you can really start feeling the electricity and the power of sensation. And then ultimately, we become a more open channel that can feel more of the highs and the lows of life, both the intense sensation and the subtlety, without needing to manage it in the same way. We become artists of the erotic, an artist of life that can play with all kinds of sensation without having to turn it down or clamp it off or tighten it up, and instead can experience it as turn on.